the gods. You're listening to Hindsight Radio.
Peace, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Truth Tuesday Show with your host, Akeem L, here on Hindsight Radio, the information station changing the nation. I hope everybody's doing good out there. Hope you had a successful past week, a successful day, prosperous, peaceful, healthy, wealthy day. First, before I really hate to get into it, so you guys can't hear me. You know, I don't be trusting Blog Talk, especially after I've been on vacation, so they know I'm coming with some good information. You know, every time I go on vacation, I get, fired up. Somebody just text me in the chat or whatever and just say you can hear me. And I'll know I can keep going. Let me just type that in here. I'm not getting any text messages. Oh, they said they can hear me. Good. Thanks, Jessica, for that. So as you know, last week was some people call it solar return, but the majority of people call it a birthday. I call it my entry into the 3D realm to bring light to the world. That was the day, October 27th, 1969. Somewhere on that day, I came in to the world and caused pain on my mom at the same time. But she was happy to see me. But anyway, man, we went to Cabo San Lucas, Mexico last week. And it was a great vacation. It was a good time. I was treated by my fiance Bathsheba to that vacation. We did a lot of good things. We saw some of the culture. One of the most memorable things about the trip was we did a beach on a massage. We did a massage on the beach. And I keep talking about this thing because I've had plenty of massages, but not like this, man. This massage was so good. I could have swore I heard angels, and I was lifted up in the air. It was so good. But, we had scheduled one with the resort. It was part of a package, and they gave us these $200 credits. But you can only do something on a resort with that, right? Their massage was not as good as the ones on the beach. And it was only $50 for 70 minutes. Y'all know how much massages cost. The average is around $75 to $100 for an hour or so. Depends on where you go. But man, when I go back there, I'm looking for them. And I used to have this shoulder problem where it felt like it was out of joint. It seemed like she knew exactly, and she kind of shifted it, and it went right back into its proper position. And, man. But anyway, that was one of the highlights. And then the other highlight, first time ever having dinner on the beach, her and I. And we had our own waiter to take care of us there. And that was good. It was a little windy that day, but it seemed like it was windy, but it wasn't that windy where we couldn't enjoy ourselves. And it was private, like no one could really see us. They put these little bags with, with the candles in it, lining up to the table and all of that. That was great. So the whole trip overall was a great trip, and it was a spiritual type because trip. Helped me open my eyes to a lot of things, appreciate things more. We were just talking to each other. Hey, we kind of set this trip up within the last 3 weeks. Most people can't do that. They got to plan the whole year out before they go. And, just going and not worrying about the money and things like that. The only thing that was a hiccup on the way back, the connection was too close and we missed our flight to get home Friday night, so we got home the next day about 12 hours later, which turned out to be good because I ordered some food from some place in Dallas, and it was good. It was like catfish and wings and some other stuff I bought. We didn't even eat it all, so we left that food in the hotel. But it was like, man, this was some good food. So I got to go to Dallas I'm part of a private group where we, with people who have information like I do on the level that I know. There's 12 of us. We meet once a year. We were supposed to meet twice this year, but COVID screwed it up. So it'll be people like some of you guys who are on my premium membership. Al, he'll be there, and some other guys. So we go and we put our heads together and come up with more remedy. And so that's early January. I'll be doing that. So that's the long and short of the trip. It was great, and I want to thank everybody for the birthday wishes, and give a special shout out to Jason, who sent me a hoodie from his brand, and it's a special shout out. Know why? Because every day I see Jason on Instagram promoting his business, right? And I talk to a lot of people who have businesses, but I don't see their presence as much as I see his. So this is not a hit for anybody out there. This is a lesson. Listen, if you want to do it, you got to be out there every day promoting your business, telling people about yourself, and lock that into the consciousness of people. So I want to give him a shout out. Thank you for the hoodie. He sent me other samples a while back. He sent me that as a present. And but the thank you really is for following the steps to success. Putting your name out there, putting your business, talking about your business. We do so much. We work for people, and we talk about their business all the time that enriches their family. It's time for us to take back our power and enrich ourselves, enrich our families through our own businesses. And the only way you're going to do that is by talking about it, putting the presence out there. I mean, literally, I know someone. I've been having contact with him for about over a year, well over a year now. They were putting the website together, and it was such a perfectionist. They wanted it to be perfect and this and that. I said, listen, it don't have to be perfect. When I started my website, it was crude. It just had the products up there, no real style to it. And I think my website can improve even more. But it gets the job done. It's out there. People know about it. They know where to go get the information. But if it's not out there, you can't do anything. If you're not promoting it, talking about it every day, several times a day or 100 times a day, nothing's going to happen. Remember, you are the power of the manifestation in your life. And, yeah, right, Jason, you got to learn how you go. You put the stuff up, your customers tell you exactly how to fix the problem. This is not working, so you switch it. My website switches because when I get multiple feedback from people about the same thing, that needs to be fixed. So let me go fix that. Put it up there, and people will tell you what they need. But people will say, I need it to be perfect. No, it don't have to be perfect. And first of all, they don't know people don't know what perfect is. That's your mind. That's your hindrance. And usually that's a block from that person who really doesn't want success. They say they want success, but they don't want to put themselves out there because they're saying, they're afraid how people are going to look at their site. What? You worrying about people saying and you trying to sell some product? You need to know what they're saying. All success comes from many failures. And I don't even like the word failure. All success comes from many processes that you tried and didn't give you the results that you wanted. That's it. It's all a process. Things not working is a process for you to your success. All you need is that one big success. But to get to the one big success, you have to go through many processes to get there. He that endures to the end will receive the benefit of that. Keep going in your opposition. So many people want success, but they don't want to go through the opposition. They don't want the rejection part of it. You can't get anything without in some type of opposition. I wouldn't be talking to you guys right now if I couldn't handle opposition, because I got plenty of it and I still get it. I put a video up about how the European males stole the rights of women's equality when they got a hold of the Constitution, when they created the Constitution. So the white male got on there and called me demonic for promoting that. But he doesn't know his own statements made my statements true. What's the problem with women coming up and being on the same level when it comes to having control? Why is that a problem? Really? And when you look deep into yourself, that comes from your deep-seated religious instructions that you got as a child that basically taught you that the men was this and that, and because you read the Bible makes you, it really kind of put women down, although women support it more than men do. They keep women in a certain position, like a servitude position. Some places a woman have to wear a head covering just to pray in front of people. Why? Because they say the man is the head. And when you're teaching young males that and not giving them the proper direction, they run with that like crazy and don't know how to handle that. Being a leader or being a head doesn't mean that you a totalitarian type of household. And that's how a lot of guys are running their homes. I know I certainly thought like that, and I'm going to tell you that don't work. I can tell you how to screw something up when it comes to a marriage, because I did that. So that ain't going to work, because they're going to get tired of that. People want to be treated with respect. And men, we want respect. In order to get it, we have to give it. Same thing with women. If y'all want compassion and understanding, you're going to have to give it too. So, I know the title of the show is what? It's correcting your nationality. So basically, I'm going to go through some things that you need to do to correct your status. I know that status correction been thrown around a lot. Go do a UCC, do this, do an affidavit. I know I taught on here plenty of times about affidavit of denial of U.S. citizenship when I had limited knowledge. But now I have a direct path to the correction. And I'm still correcting. I still got things I got to do. I got my name change thing, and I got to go hit up these agencies. All right? But before we do that, I got to do my spiel on spirituality. Right? So I'm in Matthew. Chapter 7, starting at verse 13. Kind of came to me, and I think I told on this a little bit before, but I'm going to do it again because it's very fitting for what we're going through now. Right now, they're looking for some president to fix their problems. They're out there at the polls. If they haven't closed already, I don't know. I don't keep up with that stuff. Everybody joke, Biden, Trump, Biden. Oh, who's going to be this? Who's going to be this? Who's going to do that? I'm here to tell you, none of them are going to do anything for your household more than you can do. They're going to do what they're doing down there in Washington, D.C. And if you read UCC 9-1, UCC 9-307, they tell you where the United States is. It says the location of debtor. If you go down to Section H of that same section, said the United States is located in the District of Columbia. And that's in UCC 9-307, letting you know that D.C. is nothing but a debtor. Anything you attach to it makes you a debtor. So why you want to go in there and vote? You want to vote for a president that's attached to a debtor entity. Who cares? right? I just want to touch on that. But let me go back to Matthew chapter 7. It says, in verse 13, it says, enter through the narrow gate, for the gate is wide and the road is easy that leads to destruction, and there are many who take it. What does that mean? What is this narrow gate? Is this a physical gate? Could be. I don't know. I've never seen it. But I know it's metaphysically, it's a mental gate. So many people are thinking and having the same thoughts about doing this. You know, they're on Facebook with the little thing. I voted and posted it, feeling proud that they just accomplished something. They did something. And that's what makes us look like idiots. Because we're doing things that don't. How does that change your lifestyle in your home? How does that change your wealth, your peace, your love? And then some of these people I know that got these stickers, I know them personally. So I know what's going on with them. And they got a lot of stuff got going on that, you know, they might want to tend to. But somehow they're thinking something outside of them is going to fix this. And this is the majority of people's thinking. So it says if you are entering into this road that's wide and easy, because that's the easy, wide road, because why? Everybody's taking that. Everybody says that's what you need to do. But when you say, I don't vote, I don't deal with that, that's a narrow road. And everybody looking at you crazy, want to criticize you. That's the narrow. You have to take the narrow, because the narrow road is the hard one, because that takes mental strength to maintain against this negative environment that we're living in. It's okay to be on that road. And yes, you might trip up a little bit, but you get back on it, because that's the road to success. Let me keep going. For the gate is narrow and the road is hard and leads to life, and there are few who find it. Few are going to find the truth, that the real power is within them. The real God is in them, living through them. See, people, I put that, I had that on Facebook, and I had put a little statement on there talking about Biden didn't do anything for 47 years. What do you think he's going to do for you for the next 4? Of course, a lot of my people or people that look like me assumed I was voting for Trump. I didn't say anything about voting. I was just like, yo, y'all think about this. Because neither one of them, when they're making decisions, is thinking about your community. Not one. You're not a thought. Although one might think a little bit about it just to get political brownie points. But for the most part, 51 years, none of them are thinking about us at all when it comes to these rules. We are a byproduct of just the society that we all live in. We're just there. And the main reason why they don't think about us is because we're not working together as a community and sharing our resources economically. So if you're somebody in power or in that position and you're looking for some support, you're going to go to a group that works together, not a group that doesn't work together, because you're going to get more benefit out of that. So until we start relying on our own selves, nothing's going to change. But the bigger thing is you need to be concerned with your own government, your own house. That's it. I don't care about what's going on over there. I take care of mine, and we're doing well. You know, beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravenous wolves. You will know them by their fruits. That's another big thing. People are running to different people for advice, whether it be the pastors, the schools, whatever, or just even this information. They're looking for answers. Even people who work with me, they running all over the place looking for answers. And those type of people can't see the truth because they don't know what the truth looks like when it's in front of them. Because they don't look for the truth within themselves, so they're looking for the truth outside of them, so they can't recognize the truth because they don't recognize themselves as having the truth. Until you come to the reality that the only truth that you will ever receive is from within inside of you, you will never see truth outside of you, ever. And I've witnessed this with my own eyes. I watch and I see people running from process to process, process to process. And these people that if they talk to me long enough, I stop them, say, listen, stop looking for process to process. Even slow down with me. Stop and look for the truth in you. Recognize the truth about you first, and then you will recognize the truth outside of you. If you don't do that, if you're looking for the truth outside of you, you're going to be running around in circles like a dog chasing his tail and never get any remedy. And these people really, money after money, nothing happens. You know? Nothing. I mean, I've warned. I said, I wouldn't do that if I was you, and they do it. And, oh, yeah, you was right. I said, stop, slow down. The people, that's not popular. When you tell people, see, that's a person who's on the easy and the broad and spacious road that leads to destruction, because that's what everybody else is doing, looking for the answers outside of them. Any problem that you're calling a problem, you must stop and look for the truth in it. Where am I in this situation? Who am I in this situation? And then the answer comes. The answer didn't come to me until I started asking for the truth within myself. I thought I was talking to some God in the sky. And next you know, when I said I asked for the truth, the very first thing that God in me revealed, that God is not in the sky. Someone told you he was in the sky or he was some off in some space. I always try to imagine that. Remember as a kid, you try to remember where God is. Is he in the darkness? Is he above this? And I heard all kind of answers like, oh, he's out there. He's out there, but he's in a realm outside of what we know as space. You know, these are all of the answers. And you know, all of that stuff is made up. They didn't read that anyway. They just made that stuff up. Just coming up with everything. But no one ever said, look, when I asked, where is God? You know, where's his house? It didn't say, you are his house. And that's what I'm telling y'all today. God is your house. He's in you. You're the house of God. You're the true temple of God. You know, and when I put that on my YouTube and I said something in the video, oh God, he does this, and they come up with their assumptions about what God is doing and not doing. See, those are people that's on that broad and spacious path. They can't see that. The God only resides in one place, in you. For me, he resides in me. And right, like Reverend Ike says, everyone has their own individual concept of God, and be careful that you're not believing in someone's misguided concept of God. Because if it's a God that you're talking about outside, that's a misguided concept. Things didn't start happening for me until I realized where my true source of power was, in me. All right, let me keep going. You will know them by their fruits. Are grapes gathered from thorns or figs from thistles? In the same way, every good tree bears good fruit, but the bad tree bears bad fruit. And that's a good point. When you're looking for information or looking for anything, look at the fruit that's bearing from the tree you're trying to get it from. Yeah, look at the fruit that it's bearing, because I see people looking and listening and running after information, and I look at the fruit that the person is bearing, and that fruit ain't good. And one of the biggest fruit that I see most people that's trying to give out, there's a lot of people out there trying to give out advice about life coaching and whatever, and their finances are terrible. A lot of people listening. What fruit you gonna get from that? A fruit of poverty. You know, how can someone? I mean, I've actually seen people say they live out of their car, but they're on Facebook 24/7 posting what you should be doing with your life. And in my mind, I'm like, you need to get the hell off Facebook and start doing something else to get out of that so you can have a home. Maybe that's what's keeping you from being in the home because you're so busy in this little screen 24/7. That's what they talk about, wolves in sheep clothing. They're but ravenous wolves. They're sitting out there giving out all this great, and some of the advice is kind of good. But you always got to look at the source, where it's coming from. People are perpetrating. Like, wait a minute, you sitting there, you living out your car, and you just on here, just every time I turn, there you are posting. How about posting your business? You know, switch up. You got to pay for that phone somehow. You know, make some money to pay for it. But you know, people do what they want to do. All right. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, nor can a bad tree bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. And that's what you guys got to start doing. When you got things in your life that's not bearing good fruit, you need to cut it down and throw it into the mental fire of your mind. Burn it up. And some of y'all listening to me right now know what I'm talking about. Y'all know there's something you've been bugging you that you need to cut off, some friend, some situation. You need to cut it and put it into and burn it up into the fire. Thus you will know them by their fruits. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, and only the one who does the will of my Father in heaven. What is he talking about? There's so many people talking about they got this, they understand, their minds are enlightened, they're elevated, but their fruit, that's why this scripture is preceded by the fruit that they bear, because so many people is going to bear false witness and pretend like they got it together, and they don't. And they're around here prophesying on people's lives, having long, drawn-out prayers, and their life is a mess. But they know what's best for you, though. Be careful. You know, I give people so much opportunity to be in my ear about things. And after that, when I see the fruit, I leave it alone. Because the only thing I can get from that advice or whatever they're trying to prophesy or give me, I'm going to get exactly what they got. So what do? Mentally burn it up into that fire. So that's not what I want to be associated with. You know, a lot of people they can sit there and say, "Oh, I got this. I've been doing this a long time." Yeah, you've been doing it the wrong way the long time. Yeah, that's true. You're right. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only the one who does the will of the Father. What is the will of the Father? That higher consciousness, that mastermind, the Father of all things that is happening in your life is that super consciousness, that subconscious thoughts that's operating consistently in the background. That's what has to be trained and retrained over and over again to give you the things that you desire. And I did a video and I was talking about you need to get you a gold card or a card. The guy, I think his name was Bob Proctor, he kept a card with him. He put down, I am so happy and grateful that I have $25,000. That's what his goal. That's what he wanted. But you can do that with anything. I am so happy and grateful. This is how you do the will of the Father. Positive things, and it's got to be a consistent, everyday, daily thing. You know, sometimes I get off focus and I don't do it, and I just go about my day. Then I realize, why is my day just so, dull? Because I haven't been doing the will of the Father. I haven't been concentrating on my desires. On that day, many will say to me, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name and cast out demons in your name and do many deeds of power in your name? And I will declare to them, I never knew you. Go away from me, you evildoers. Because many people are making claims of how much they have this power and this, that, and the other, and they don't. They're not really connected because a lot of these people are doing things that seem to have power, but when you really look, You always got to look behind their words. Their life is not reflecting what they're saying and doing, then that's not someone you want to be taking advice from. I'm very careful about that. A lot of people, man, you're just so hard. Yes, you got to be hard about you protecting your consciousness, your prosperity. This is why the wealthy don't really hang out with people that are not in their same frame of thought. It's not that they think better of them. They just know that negativity is contagious. Everyone then who hears these words of mine and act on them will be like a wise man who built his house on rock. The rain fell, the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house, but it did not fall because it had been founded on rock. So if you are constantly training your consciousness daily, when things come, when the hard times seem to come, you'll be able to stand through them. That's why most people, I got it, I'm going to do it. Then they get a little bit of success, and then the hard times come, they fall right back into a mode of negativity. So that's basically it right there in a nutshell. Keep your mind positive. Stay away from negativity as much as possible. Sometimes it's unavoidable just to be around it, but what I mean by stay away from it mentally, do not get involved in it. Do not get dragged into things. So, status correction. I got about 9 minutes, and then Lauren is going to call me. But I want to run through this real quick. The things you need to do to correct your status. First of all, you need to make a mental correction of status. Figure out who you are first. Because so many people want to do a process, and then when they come to me, they don't know who they are. Who are you? Are you American National? Are you one of the indigenous people? Who are you? That you must establish in your consciousness first. Then to the process. So let's just say you consider yourself an American national, right? But not a citizen of the United States. So you need to go ahead and let the Department of State know by way of doing your passport process. Of course, that's at my website, akimel.com. You can do it two ways. Go and purchase the webinar and the templates, and you do it on your own, or you can get the $1,500 while I walk you through it and make sure you get your passport. The second thing, well, I should have said this first. You need to authenticate that birth certificate, and that reminds me. Yeah, I'm glad I brought that up. Let's look at Minnesota Rule 220. And I've read this on the show, and I was taught this by others about this Minnesota Rule 220. And the other night, I read this thing about 20 times, and something revealed itself to me. And I said, do I have to? Because, sometimes things bother me. And I said, I'll deal with it when the time's appropriate. And I dealt with it when it was appropriate. And I'm going to read this rule. And hopefully people who have been on this track with me can catch it. General Rules of Practice, Rule 220, Birth Certificates. And this is the rule title, Birth Certificate. The Registrar of Titles is authorized to receive for registration of memorials upon any outstanding certificate of title and official birth certificate pertaining to a registered owner named in said certificate of title, showing the date of birth in said registered owner, providing there is attached to the said birth certificate an affidavit of an affiant who states that she is familiar with the facts recited, stating that the party named in said birth certificate is the same party as one of the owners named in said certificate of title, and that thereafter the registrar of title shall treat said registered owner as having attained the age of majority at a date 18 years after the date of birth shown by said certificate. So, okay. This is what after reading this thing is talking about two different documents. It's talking about the birth certificate, and it's talking about a certificate of title. Oh, what do you mean, Hakeem? I thought it's all one and the same. No, it's not. I'm going to read it again. The Register of Titles is authorized to receive a registration of memorials upon any outstanding certificate of title, right? An official birth certificate pertaining to a registered of owner named in said certificate. So what it's saying is, if there's an outstanding certificate of title, right, you need to show a birth certificate, an official birth certificate, to show that the name on that certificate is the same as the person who is the owner of the outstanding certificate of title. What am I talking about? Let's just say, well, not just say, you got a certificate of title to your house, right? You all get that. Y'all do know y'all get a certificate of title to the house, even though there's a mortgage on it, it's called the warranty deed, right? You're supposed to take your registered birth certificate, attach an affidavit saying that you are the owner of that warranty or that particular certificate of title. Same thing with a car, certificate of title. You're supposed to let them know, I am the owner by way of proof through the birth certificate. This is why a lot of people, it's hard to register their birth certificate now. Some places did it. Minnesota will register your birth certificate as is, but you're supposed to take all titles, including the birth certificate, and register them all at the same time with that birth certificate, showing that you are the named owner of those certificates. Because it says certificate of title. What has the certificate of title? Cars, a home, it has its own certificate of title. Any property that you own, you're supposed to put them all on record as you're the owner. Yeah. Do I need to read it again? It says the Register of Titles is authorized to receive for registration of memorials upon any outstanding certificate. It says any outstanding. So what it's telling you, as long as you're not registering it that way, you're not looked at the age of the majority. Yeah, you do. I'm not saying not to register the birth certificate as well as a title. I'm saying you're supposed to do that along with all the other certificate of titles. All together. Or as you get them. Yeah. And now you're looked at as a age of majority. Why? Because as long as they're holding the certificate of title down at those county records, this could be. Now, I'm not saying this is, I have to go and do this now. But I think this is where the whole tax problem is coming from, why they're taxing you, because you have not become the age of majority. But that's right now a presumption on my part. I'm not going to say that as facts. You see? So go back and read it again. I'm looking at it. It says, upon any outstanding certificate of title. So before, they're just talking about the birth certificate. No, it's talking about that and all others. Because remember, all of those titles that you get are ended up being packaged, and they're trading those things. That's why they're able to make money. You haven't come in as the official owner of those titles. Because, a lot of people will say, oh, I need the allodial title. No, not necessarily. Because this here, all it's saying, you just need to get your authenticated birth certificate, put an affidavit, said you are the name on this is the owner of that. Do I need to read it again? I'm reading it again. See, this is what took me. It popped after I kept reading it. The Register of Titles is authorized to receive for registration of memorials upon any outstanding certificate of title. What's the registration of memorials? The birth certificate. Now, let's look at what that word memorials means. Because we're assuming, right? I don't want to assume. It says, one, something especially a structure established to remind people of a personal event. 2, a statement of facts, especially as the basis of a petition. A statement of facts. So a birth certificate is a statement of facts saying the time and day of birth, right? That you entered into this realm. Right? So you need to enter, hey, this is the owner of that certificate of title. Now, I heard before it's just talking about real estate. No, it said any outstanding certificate of title. An official birth certificate pertaining to a registered owner named in said certificate of title showing the date of birth of said registered owner. Providing there is attached to the said birth certificate an affidavit of an affiant who states that she is familiar with the facts recited, stating that the party named the said certificate. Oh, that's my daughter. I'll be right back. We'll pick up.
Peace to the gods. You're listening to Hindsight Radio.
Oh, yeah. I kind of lost it. All right. So, yeah, you got to register all of those things. This is why you don't have true ownership of your property, because we're not registering things properly. It's telling you right there to register along with the certificate of title of any property that you own or have title to. All right? All right. I think I covered it all that I wanted to talk about. Oh, okay. We're talking about the thing. So authenticating the birth certificate. Now you want to do your name change after you do the passport process. You want to do that name change. You can do the name change before the passport process. Now I would say try the name change first, and then this way they can have the proper name. You can send that certified copy in to them showing what your proper name is when you do your passport. So either way, you can do it either way. But some of you have already done it as a national, so now you got to go back and do the correction of the name on that passport. If you have a driver's license or anything like that, you need to correct the status there. SS5, correct the status on that. I've read plenty of that on why you need to do that. Anywhere where they got you filling out stuff, you need to correct your jobs. You need to correct the status there too. This is who I am. Now, if you give them the social, they're going to be hitting you up for them taxes. I really don't mess with the jobs too much because I know what jobs are doing. You try to stop them taxes coming out of the check. I've seen people lose their jobs over that, and I warn them, don't, start a new job and then, start off from scratch. Because, trying to retract is kind of tough to get them to listen. And that's basically it as far as correcting the status. Letting them know all of the things you have presumed yourself to be that you are now not. You know better now. Correct those things. All right, with that being said, I think we got one callers here. I'm going to be getting off after I take all the calls. So if you got something to say it now. Press 1. Let's get it. Get those questions out there. A lot of people like to email me after the show. Oh, what about this and that? Nah, I'm not answering those emails. Get your questions answered on the show for free, or schedule your something. All right, let's go to 313-737. 313-737. Oh. All right, let's go to 775-379. Yeah, peace. What's up?
Peace. Hey, how's it going, brother? Hey, I've been listening on and off, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, man. I'm doing absolutely fantastic. I woke up. I can't ask for nothing better than that, really. And I'm motivated.
Glad to hear.
So
right,
yeah, I'm pretty young. I'm pretty new to this and everything. And I hear what you're saying about getting started off with the getting your name corrected, and I'm definitely taking note of that. My whole thing is that will you be able to use the passport and basically as far as all identification and everything like that, even for driver's license and everything like that? Because I'm looking to completely move away from as much as government as possible. You get what I mean?
There's some people that do it. I just don't teach it like that because, you know, it's your right to do that, but these police officers are not trained to respect you not having a driver's license, right? So everybody that I know, if they're not properly set up, they will get tickets. They will get locked up for not having a license. They receive problems. But I know factually that once people do the national passport process, they just show that the card and they've been let go. But I can't say that would happen every time because these guys, they don't always follow their own rules.
So it's basically just correct the name with everything and keep
just going in like I did. I went in there, gave them my explanatory statement, and they got that on the record. Who I am.
Yeah, see, I don't know too much about all the paperwork and stuff like that, like explanatory statement and stuff. Like I'm.
Oh yeah,
I know as much as far as like that loyal title. I'm a new book. You know.
Yeah. See, I teach people how to have those credentials, but let them know who you are while you're having those credentials. And it has benefited me greatly. So by doing it that way. You know.
The explanatory statement.
So when I did my name change, right? I know for a fact they looked up my driving record, all of that, and everything matches what I was saying on my name change. So I had no problem.
Okay. And
I
you
wasn't
changed
running
the
around.
name from. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
I'm not running around saying I'm one thing, but when you look at the record, I look like something else. So, yeah. They did a check on me. Trust me.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm all 100% clean. I'm clean, like referee with a whistle, all that. Like my thing is, I just want to make sure I stay good and for the future. You know, I'm trying to learn everything as much as I can. Like I'm 27, and I'm trying to learn before I even have a family, before I even get involved with anything. I'm focused on this. I was brought some of this information when I was like 22, 23. I didn't really take it seriously, but right now, I ain't worried about nothing but this. You know.
Yeah. Well, you're doing the right thing, taking your time, learning it before you make any moves. Don't rush into it. Just learn what you understand what you're doing before you do it.
Right.
You know. So.
All right. For sure. Appreciate it, man. Oh, and one more question. And just with the name change, it's the correct name is the upper and lower case, right?
The tradition, the judge told me the traditional way, upper and lower. First, the capital letter of the first name, everything else lowercase, and the capital of the last name. Yeah, that is the proper way.
Okay, I'm gonna order all my stuff here pretty soon. Get my birth certificate. I'm gonna get rock and rolling. I appreciate it, brother.
All right, Pete.
All right, peace.
All right, thank you, brother. Yeah, that's it. That name change. We're not changing it to some different name. We're changing it to its proper form. All right? And once you do that, you're going to submit that to all them people that's sending you stuff in all caps and say, hey, this is not me. Basically, I'm still in the process of doing that right now. I've been on vacation, so I got to get in work mode again. 786-597, Pete.
Hey, what's up, Hakeem?
Hey, what's going on?
How you doing? This the current update. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, this the current update. When I did the name change petition for a rehearing, they did something kind of weird. They opened the case, then they took my $50, they opened the case, then they closed it again. So I don't know what's going on. So it looks like from what I'm seeing here is that I'm going to have to file it again. Because
how about you call them and ask them why they opened and closed it. Just ask them. What did they say?
Yeah, they say let me see here. All right, here's the order closing post-judgment. It says this matter has been reopened for post-judgment activities in the courts having completed its labor. The matter is hereby reclosed. This order does not represent, nor shall it be construed as adjudication of the merits of or the dismissal of any post-judgment petition or counter-petition that may be pending in the case as of the date of entry of this order. Further, this order does not represent, nor shall it be construed as an adjudication of the merits of or the striking of any motion that may be pending on the date of entry of this order. This order is entered without prejudice to either parties, claims, or defense in connection with any such pending matter. That in order, Judge Chambers. So, they're pretty much from what I'm getting here. They don't want to deal with me, so I'm just gonna go back in there and give them that a shot.
Right.
Yeah.
You
so,
gotta keep pushing.
Yeah.
Sound like they really didn't give you a good reason how they did it.
No. I got the feeling that the judge didn't really want to deal with me because he's not familiar with what I'm trying to do. So I'm just gonna, refile and do it again.
Mhm. Yeah, you're gonna have to push it or file it in another county. See how that works.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, Pete.
Peace.
All righty. Let's go. Let me try this call again. 313737. Well, they call in, but they not listening. All right, it's 8:13. That's all I have for tonight. It's been a kind of a day for me because I stayed up all night last night. I made video and just reading. That's when I was reading the Minnesota Rule 220. If y'all, go read that Minnesota Rule 220 again, because I know I'm on to something with that. With that being said, we got the next show coming up is tomorrow, 10 a.m. The Solomon Temple show, and then after that, on Thursday is the Divine Connection show with Jessica and Tasia. Friday, Freedom Friday with Xavier L. Sunday, Raising Independent Thinkers with Bathsheba. And back to Monday is the Bombay show. He didn't have a show yesterday because his father's not feeling well. So he had to tend to him with his dad. So I just hope everything gets well with his father. We'll see him hopefully on next Monday. All right, peace. I'm out.